Welcome to PLZ Soccer's Football Podcast. I'm Peter Martin, and I'm delighted to say that as well as Alan Rough and Tam Cowan, our special guest is Gary Harkins. Another one of those great guests, Roughie. Too many clubs to mention. No point in, just dwelling on all the clubs that have let him go. More to where he is now and what he's doing now, Roughie.
Yeah, he's certainly up there with the guests we've had, the amount of clubs. I think Chick Charlie's still out there, head and shoulders above everybody, but I don't think Gary will be far behind him. 23, is it?
Yeah, well, Chick's on 23, although he did say, Chick did say, Tom, when he was getting to the point where he thought, I'm really scunnered with the manager, what he would do was either get sent off or banjo one of the players in the opposition or his own team, and then he'd get that big move away. Gary, are you that type of person that you look, how do you here's a great one, how do you take rejection, because footballers get it every day of the week?
It's normal for me now, isn't it? I get used to it.
It's the strangest thing ever, because we pass judgment on people every day of the week, Tam, but footballers, every minute they're on the park.
Exactly.
You could be a dud one minute and a superstar.
Hands up, I did pass judgment on Alfredo Morelos at Fir Park last week, but I'm firmly in the camp that he should be allowed to do whatever he pleases in the park. Peter, anybody that's ever listened to any of my guff for years will know that. I think all the chucking the missiles and all that for the numpties that did it in East Stand was ridiculous, but where I was having a go at Alfredo Morelos, and I'd love any Rangers fans who are tuned in to give us an answer to this, I would venture that he has not once actually come off the park after he's rolled about in the back of a challenge for 10 minutes, had quote-unquote treatment from the physio.
Yeah.
I've never seen him once actually come off the park. Lo and behold, he'll bounce back up like a gazelle and gets on with the game. That is the sort of thing, when I was in my prime position above the dugouts on Sunday, that I was losing the nut about, but all the stuff about wanting to say get it up, that, absolutely entitled to that. Gary's the sort of player that had that. He's one of your kind of, these players that everybody knows, maybe carrying a wee bit away and all that, a character on the pitch. So he would have had all the dogs abuse because, and particularly the level that Gary's at now, they maybe don't know an awful lot of players, so he stands out like a superstar. But if you're going to get the abuse and you give a wee bit back, you can't start chucking missiles. It's absolutely ridiculous.
You're not allowed to do that. Like, you get told every year
you're
not allowed to get.
Well, Gary, you know what? See, with the same
I'd be doing it every week.
But the same token, pal, I've always said that the guys that take off their jerseys to celebrate go and get a booking. If I was their manager, I would book them. No book them, I would fine them rather, right? Okay, I would fine them heavily because it is not an involuntary reaction taking your jersey off. You can do something else to celebrate, do a cartwheel, do anything you fancy. But if you do that at a club like Motherwell and you end up getting suspended when we've got a small squad and you end up sitting up in the stand for a big game because you took your jersey off, I would hammer the player. But like the thing with getting booked if you're giving all that to fans that begin you dogs abuse, it is a stupid rule in the first place. I'm sure you agree.
And the good thing is, Roughie, I know you mentioned to me earlier, we wanted to make Gary's podcast something that people could listen to all year round, but every week we come on, Tam always dates it as in, we're fast approaching Christmas. Last week's game against Motherwell, he does it every week, doesn't he?
I know, but he's right. He is right, but as Gary said, the rule's there. The rule's in the book. If you want to change the rule, change it at the beginning of the season.
Maybe I'm not as confident as you lot that will be here next year.
No, here's
that too wise for him.
Oh, listen. Hey, by the way, I was going to say to you, listen, have you ever been guilty of it? I mean, Tam's saying it, we all hate it. Rolling about.
No. I'm for Greenock.
Yeah.
You kind of roll about in Greenock.
Well,
you're up in the way as quick as you can.
There's too many answers to that.
Well, we've had experience of Port Glasgow.
In Greenock,
yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. I'll never forget Port Glasgow as long as I live, as a night out with Tam.
I was back in Port Glasgow just the other week. There I did a thing for a company in there. Hello to McLaren Publishing. McLaren Packaging.
Will they send you something off the back of it?
No. Send me some packaging. There's a box for you, Tam. Back to you again next year. but anyhow, I was doing our favourite place, me and Peter's Port Glasgow Town Hall, where we had a rare tear one particular night. And Peter, the place just keeps getting madder and madder. It was a smashing me do. They'd taken out all their staff for a 40th anniversary works night out. fed them, watered them. I was basically there to say hello, do the raffle for them, stuff like that, and introduce the cabaret, which we did not have the last night we were there. And it was a hello as well to Polly Hoops. Polly Hoops. Have a wee guess what you think the act, I'll not even tell you anything else other than the name. Polly Hoops. Describe what you think the cabaret act would be.
This is a dog that jumps through through hoops, is it?
Educated guess. Gary, go on, Polly Hoops.
I don't know, some sort of Celtic singing band.
That's what I was starting to think.
Roughie?
Oh, I would go for the hula hoops and the guy twiddling them round his neck.
Oh.
And he's doing about 6 or
right?
7 at the one time.
Well, no a guy, but at the risk of having you jumping right in the motor down to Port Glasgow, it was a young lady in a spangly, glittery leotard who, along to a disco soundtrack, she performed all sorts of tricks with a variety of hula hoops.
Wow.
And she was excellent.
That's good,
But
Roughie.
another mad night in Port Glasgow.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Port Glasgow, Gary, because him and I were speaking, and they decided that Table 7 would knock the hell out of Table 8, and they just decided to batter each other while we were in full flow in the act, you know, so every gag was lost. On that point, I mean, you're coming to... I mean, he's already said you're fat, which I'm gutted at, because I've modelled my entire playing career on you because of economy of movement, great first touch. What more can you ask for in a guy? Everywhere I've followed him in his career.
And I have to say, even when the warm-ups at Partick Thistle, the supporters are right behind them. They love him going round the back and warming up. They're really cheering them on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's
Not a lot well this year,
That's obviously you've been a regular sub.
I've been up and down there a lot this year.
Who's the one manager that you've liked, that you've enjoyed and thought, he gets it?
Just from early days, probably be Jockey Scott. McCall, my first spell in Jockey Scott when I went there. I remember going to Jockey within like a month or two and asking him if he wanted me to go and help Eddie Malone more at left back, and he told me to F off, and that was Eddie's job, stay up the pitch and do your stuff up there. So
yeah,
that was, I would say he was quite good at it.
Are the days gone though when you would be a manager? I mean, I think you're the sort of player, and that actually says where he's deemed to have carried a bit of weight. That's what I said, deemed, because as I've learned, whenever you get football players up close and personal on shows that I've done and stuff, my best ever example is Mark Yardley. We had Mark Yardley in to do the radio was a few years ago, and I was expecting this monster to arrive, and he was built like a rake, you know, and you realise he was maybe 2 pounds heavier than every other player in the park, and it showed up a wee bit, but it was like that, and it's the same with Gary.
Well, can I tell you something? If you get Mark Yardley on the show tomorrow, I was with him last night, and
is that right?
He's eaten the entire rake shop now. the medium shirt has been thrown out.
He had only just retired when we had him on the show that time. And
it was about 10 years ago.
Having a long career. If you'd have watched the BBC documentary last night.
Yeah, it's
7 minutes into the podcast, he mentions the BBC. He does it every week. It's unbelievable. Anyway, apart from that, I've got to say congratulations to you, because it is 25 years is no mean feat for a programme like Off the Ball.
Exactly, and you'll be delighted to know, as I promised you 2 weeks ago, because you've been away, I did indeed mention PLZ Soccer on BBC Radio Scotland last Saturday.
Did it get down like a lead balloon?
There you go. Eh?
Did it get down like a lead balloon?
Well, I just kind of muttered it in the canteen. I didn't actually say it in the programme. But aye. Great. 25 years, but it's been wonderful.
I thought some of the early day 40s were magnificent.
What about you with your dark hair?
Pots and kettles, is she there?
I thought they were great.
Yeah,
it was great, aye. But see, you can tell folk that have never had anything done, be it the old hair colour and stuff like that, and you know, that's just. I mean, is that your own beard colour? Aye. We flex closely. I tell you, I'm almost sitting here shiting myself because only the other day I watched the 1980 film version of Flash Gordon, and if you remember the old Emperor Ming and that, aye,
he's a dead
absolutely.
Regular. Just on that point, I mean, you've had 25 years off the ball. I did actually see a photograph, and you looked as if you had the boy from Wackaday's glasses on and dark brown hair. What was his name? Timmy Mallet.
Deirdre Barlow, all them. It was the bigger. The glasses gradually get smaller for a while as you go down through the years. The hair gets a bit greyer, and that's it.
And talking of Barnett's, yours with the Movember that you did, was it at Kilmarnock? It was embarrassing, that point in your career, wasn't it?
Raised money.
Yeah,
raised a lot of money, but I looked horrendous. You're not wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Jockey Scott there. That's the one thing I do admire. You'll know it from Motherwell and man management and how everybody's the whole game has changed because everybody thinks that you've got to be a technical genius. Man management, I think, can you quantify the percentage of really good managers who are able to motivate a player and simplify things? Because some people overcomplicate football.
I think at our level especially, I think if you get a team behind you and all playing for you, it goes a long way. I think tactics are obviously really important, but it's more important to have a team all working together, I would say.
Yeah, and did you have a manager who would say, you mentioned Jockey Scott, who absolutely appreciated what you do? It reminds me of the guy who was a Marseille manager, and he couldn't believe Chris Waddle when he signed him because he was tracking back to try and help his left back out, and he said to him, hey, calm down. He said, I didn't sign you to track back for him. I signed you for the halfway line forward to kill other teams.
That was basically what Jockey Scott said. I think Kenny Shields was a little bit like that as well.
Yeah.
He would defend with 7, and you would wait up just to get the ball back and go and score a great goal. So
yeah,
the craziest example of that, is it time for my Davy Cooper mention yet, Peter? The craziest example of that, Ali McCoist in the commentary of the 1991 Cup final. He cannot believe, you want to hear how high pitched his voice is sitting up in the BBC commentary box. Davy Cooper at one point with about 10 minutes to go in the cup final was back in the left back position near our corner flag, chasing back. This is Davy Cooper at the age he was as well then, and you're right, guys like him. I mean, if you came to Motherwell, let's say I was a Motherwell manager, right, and I might be, you never know who might get the jail, but the no, it's all fine.
I know. I
know chapter and verse. It'll stay within these 4 walls, but everything will be fine. But if I was a Motherwell manager, you get a guy like Gary in, you would like to think, I know fitness changed, that you could just tell him, just go out the middle of the park and play. Try to put a pass on for somebody, Well, try to join the dots.
It's not somebody that's a dinosaur for it, because I'll give you a classic example. We were talking about it earlier. Glenn Whelan. I mean, Hearts are absolutely, they may well improve, but watching them over the last season, they're absolutely murdered. But Glenn Whelan comes on, Gary. He's just like you. He's probably the same age as you, and he does exactly what you do. And here's the ultimate compliment for you, without blowing smoke up your back end. Lifts his head and thinks, "Where's the pass?" And that's all that's what he does. That's what you do.
Maybe a bit further up the pitch than Glenn Whelan, but I've always thought you're better off keeping the ball and giving it away to chase it back and get it again. So I've always been quite comfortable on the ball, and obviously not the most gifted stamina and running wise, but I thought I added more to your team without having to do that.
Yeah, but
did you see that game last night? The Hearts Celtic game. Did you watch it?
Well, that's Hearts Celtic last night then.
They play 4 times a year. This could be any year. We're sitting here, it's 2069, and we're all enjoying ourselves. We're sitting here all men. But all I was going to say was, another thing that annoys me in general terms, nothing to do with any games in the current era, but another thing that annoys me, apart from players rolling about and all the rest of it and feigning injury and then getting up like a wee meerkat when the ball's down the other end of the pitch, is the lack of professionalism that you see. That's all I can describe it as. I've seen it for years with various Motherwell teams where the big team comes to town, the TV cameras are there, and suddenly you get a wee performance out of the players who have been ranked. And I just wonder if last night, I don't want to burst their bubble, they got a wee bit of praise last night, albeit in defeat. But, if I was a Hearts fan, I'd wait to see what they're like after the next game now, because I think there was shades of that again last night, able to raise their game for Celtic. But Celtic have done it as well. Remember the night they got a goal against PSG, who scored 7, what I mean? You can raise your game against the big teams, what I mean? It's easily done. But I think that's what happened last night. I've seen it for years, and it's really annoying. A psychologist, a psychoanalyst could have a field day with it. Why players do that.
Well, the simple thing is, it's amazing how you think that way. I actually looked at the game and thought, I look at certain games and I think to myself, there's not a lot of ability on the park, so they had to make it messy. It wasn't a great park, and if you can bring a quality team down to your level, and I thought Hearts were murder. I just thought they were poor. They had a few good passing movements, which I thought came from the training ground in the short space of time their manager's been in. But other than that, you look and you say to yourself, drastic changes need to be made. I was just wondering, Gary, you've played at the top level in the Premiership. What's the most frustrating thing that you notice as you start to go down the levels?
Just the composure on the ball, I would say. A lot of panicking as the further you go down, or just launching, or obviously it's best not to concede goals giving the ball away, but you still have to take your time and play. I think it's a lot too much on tackling and pressing and winning it back instead of just looking after it when you've got it.
Yeah, Bill Shankly used to say that, Roughie, on many an occasion. Football, it's a simple game. I think Johan Cruyff said it as well. It's a simple game complicated by players.
To touch on what Tam was saying, Tam said this numerous occasions as a supporter. When you get up in the morning and you're going to see your team, you hope that the players you like are playing.
Aye.
And the players that are going to entertain you. And Gary's one of these guys who will entertain you.
Yeah.
And if you know that he's going to be playing, then he's going to do something during the game that the other players can't do.
Is there ever a player, Gary, that you played against that you thought, I've got it in for me today, I'm going to have a tough day, but you gave him a roasting? I'll take that as a no then. Okay.
There must be a good back pocket one. Who have you had in the back pocket?
I've nutmegged Scott Brown a few times.
Right, there you go.
And does he talk? Did Scotty talk to you?
He doesn't really say much. No, obviously, you're in for a game when you're up against Scott Brown, so I think he's always that close to you that you've got to do something if you're wanting to get away from him. So I've been lucky enough to go through his legs a few times.
Yeah, and what about overall when you look back on the career? Is there a player that you've thought, joy to either play with or joy to play against?
There's a few over the years. Love playing against wee Chris Miller. It's a wee easy game, innit?
Yeah, midges.
He's only small, and
you get a good 5 minutes out of him. Then
you get a good 5 minutes out of his hammy.
Yeah. Incidentally, the reason why I mentioned that, Tam, is most of the staff who we get together with the PFA, we always like to invite people that have been good to us over the years, that we've been friendly with or been pals. And Gary always gets an invite to the PFA, which you will do this year.
Sure,
right?
the cleaners are delighted every year.
Yeah. So
only by name now.
Exactly. And that's the point I'm going to mention to you, because the staff are
By overtime.
The staff are now saying, if Harkins is gone, just count us out, Roughie, because he's just bladdered in the first 10 minutes. He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
that's a Marquis professionalism.
Yeah.
It's your only night out a year.
Exactly, he can't get bevied like us every night of the week. So when he has a wee drink, it goes straight for his system.
They start throwing rolls at the Celtic team before the Stewart comes out.
Do you know what? I knew right away we were in trouble, because you walked in, you had the glazed look, and I thought, he's got 10 minutes and he's going to become a real pain in the arse. And I thought to myself, I'm so glad I'm not sitting at my own table. And you and Midge Miller, an absolute nightmare, the two of you together. But it's always a good night out, isn't it? PFA, it's a good laugh, isn't it?
It's always a good laugh.
Yeah, I still think the best one is Higdon. Higdon's the best, Tam, because he said to me in his Scouser accent, they'd been out since 12. They had battered at the Motherwell team, hadn't they?
Yep.
And Stuart McCall was in line maybe to get the Manager of the Year. Higdon was nominated for Player of the Year, and I'm not kidding you, Tam. And I'm not great at a Liverpool accent, but when his name was announced,
have a go. Go on.
He came up.
This could be a new career.
Calm down. So he came up to me. I said, come up onto the station. He's absolutely rat-arsed, and he said, there's no way I'm coming up onto that stage. You're going to take the mickey out of me, And I said, come on up, So he was absolutely bladdered. Picks up his award, goes down. The Motherwell players are absolutely magnificent. We go to Corinthian, Roughie. He offers us to buy us a drink, So we're bantering away. He says, I'll go and buy you a drink. So me and Roughie are saying, it's just taking a while, by the way, for him to buy his drink.
Oh, that was
that was him.
And the most magnificent thing about that was, fair play to him again, he still made it for the start of Stevie Hamill's testimonial golf day on Monday morning at 7:30. He was there at 7:30 at Carluke Golf Course, and what was happening as he was there, they went to the first hole and he had a missed call for his wife. They went to the second hole, 3 missed calls for his wife. He went so on and so forth, and she was basically phoning him to say that the press had started to gather at their door and up at Fir Park, etc. And he eventually had to apologise to Stevie Hamill, apologised to Stevie Hamill, and away he went, and that was that way to face the music.
I'm amazed, actually. As soon as you said there, missed call for his wife, I was waiting, you saying, she picks up the phone and she said, get back here, Roughie's here and he'll no leave.
He heard you were away for the night. Her Majesty's pleasure.
I've got to ask you, when you look back, is there any particular, we love little dressing room tale? Is there a tale of madness that you can think of from your career?
The first time at Thistle, Willie Kinnebra, I think, had his nail gunned Big Hinch's shoes to the floor or something. So in reply, he changed his registration plate. Changed it to like obviously a word. So he changed that, and Hinchy had obviously spotted it when he got home. Yeah. So Big Hinchy pretended to get pulled over the police, got the proper rap sheet, got lawyers' letters and stuff, and obviously sent court dates to Willie because he had to be a witness. So the day Willie was meant to go to court, we were all in a minibus. Jerry like dressed up as a lawyer and that. So as Willie come round the corner, we all bounced at the minibus.
That's what I call an elaborate plan, Roughie.
That was a good couple of months.
Yeah, that's a good one. And
what do you think Roughie as a director brings to Partick Thistle?
Glamour, innit? It's like the glamour.
That it?
That's it.
Yeah. Nothing much more than that, Roughie. I mean, listen, you're out, you're off the board 1 minute, you're back on. You know, you had to bide your time and wait for the coup to happen, didn't you?
Oh, that's the way it works. You know?
You can always tell when he's uneasy.
He'll always wait for a coup. Don't you worry about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Roughie, we've got this. We always like to put people in an unusual situation. If you had a superpower that you could have, one superpower, Gary, that you could choose. When you think of all the Marvel comics and all the movies that are out now, is there one in particular that sticks in your mind that you'd like?
Well, it's pretty obvious for me. I'd take some super speed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
That'd probably be normal then.
See when I was thinking about it, can you imagine if you had speed? You know, speed with stamina.
Maybe earned a wee bit more money, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you would have been a multi-millionaire, wouldn't you?
I'd done all right, I think.
You would have been. I'm trying to think of a type of player, Roughie, that he would have been with speed, with his skill and his first touch. I mean,
Letitia.
No, Letitia was just as lazy as Gary.
No, I thought he was not. I thought he was no bad.
No, not lazy. What's the word? Nah, lazy's maybe unfair. What is it? I mean, can you pin? I mean, we always look for the things that are our failings, you know.
I would say I work hard for the running I can do, or what I've been able to do over the years. It's just I've never been as naturally fit as what other kids. Ever? No, and even in school and stuff, I was losing to the fat kids at the 800 metres. So is
that right?
So it's been.
Do you know that reminds me?
It's been a tough time.
Gordon Strachan talking about Paddy McCourt. He actually said he doesn't think he'd played any proper organised football in his life. He actually he thought Paddy McCourt was, as you know yourself, Paddy McCourt was a really gifted player, but it looked as if they'd picked him from, 22 aside up the park with the jerseys down, Roughie.
I bet there's tons of players you would reverse that questioning and saying, would you rather have the skill that Gary's got or have pace?
Can I tell you something? I'd have Gary Harkins' ability all day long rather than...
But you have got that, the new.
I know.
Standing in the centre.
You just fear.
It's a yard either way. By the way, Gary, here's the line. Why run 40 yards when you can pass it 40 yards?
Exactly.
You just get the feeling that in the era in which footballers are wearing the wee boob tube things that monitor how fast you've been running, how far, you just get the feeling that players like Gary and his ilk are going to be phased out and they'll not get a chance at all. And if we go back to excuse me, a guy whose name frequently pops up in this programme, Roughie's old pal Andy Ritchie, you know what I mean?
Yes.
He simply, Andy wouldn't get near a team now, the managers and coaches and sports scientists and all these guys that would say, can he play him, irrespective of the amazing talent that he had in his feet.
I think if you're doing a book on Scottish footballers that come under a certain tag, the word is maverick to an extent. You know what I mean? I think of lots of Mavericks down through the years, Roughie. There's a guy who used to play for Leicester City and Bolton, Frank Worthington, Tony Curry at Sheffield United. You know, that type of...
We always sort of pick dream teams. I'd love to pick a dream team of ability against pace.
I see how they get on.
Aye.
And you know what?
A team of 11 with guys with fantastic ability against guys who just had a bit of pace.
In the era of FIFA computer games, there'd be a genius that'd be able to do that for you. You would stick in the players that you'd wanted, the fit, athletic guys, the guys that get plaudits for their managers in the modern day for being able to run box to box, and they're absolute athletes, and then chuck in your Andy Ritchies, Gary Harkins, all the rest. It'd be interesting to see what happened.
Who wins though?
Well, the team with the ball.
Yeah.
So I would go with ability.
Yeah.
I'd go to Ability and brain.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, there was a period in football where they were actually. I look back at some of the Arsenal sides they put together, and I'm not talking about the Invincibles. I'm talking about a period where they started signing athletes.
Yeah.
You know, where it was just you could run non-stop.
That was his quote, wasn't it? That you can turn an athlete into a footballer, but you can't turn a footballer into an athlete.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm happy with that one, by the way. That's
Sitting with Cosgrove here again. That was a cracker that you plucked
there
it.
you are.
There,
Now, do you know what that is? That's you hanging about with Ian McCall too much, isn't it? Aristotle. Let's look at the
Incidentally,
game deeply.
Frank Worthington, the aforementioned, and everybody remembers that great goal for Leicester.
Yes.
When he did the wee overhead kick himself,
Butcher.
befuddled the defence and then went in and put it by the keeper. Brilliant. But do you remember what his autobiography was called? One of the greatest names ever.
Is it One Hump or Two?
One Hump or Two.
That's
Superb.
You know it's coming,
no,
don't you?
No. I was fortunate enough to be over in Mauritius with him in an over 45s football tournament, and we just lived up to his.
Is that right? Aye. Oh, he was a big smoothie, wasn't he? Quite debonair, the big Mauser and all
the
that.
mullet, the Mauser, and the chat.
Kind of like a Peter Bowles from To the Manor Born.
That's exactly what he was
A
like.
football version of him.
There's
Yeah.
another player in the team.
Who?
Bowles.
Stan Bowles.
Stan Bowles.
Stan
The
Bowles.
boy George for
Maverick.
Arsenal in the 70s.
Charlie George.
Charlie George, can I get him in?
Definitely. Is there any Scottish Mavericks that you can think of that were of that ilk that we're talking about with Gary there?
Definitely the aforementioned Cooper. I think you should think these players that we're talking about, the Mavericks, should have excelled at the dear old Tennant Sixes.
Is Charlie
They're
a
the guys
Maverick?
Oh,
Charlie Nick?
absolutely. Oh, I would say so. Oh,
Yeah.
I absolutely. M. Dick wears a stud earring in his 60s.
Yeah.
Must be described as a Maverick.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, he's mentioned the superpower, which is speed or stamina, possibly speed, which I think would have set you apart from everybody. You wouldn't be living in Greenock. You'd have moved, and I'll get to the cities in a minute, but what about your special power, Tom?
X-ray eyes. Save me a fortune in vets bills for the Doug.
Right, okay.
Oh, aye. X-ray eyes would be great.
Do you know, I thought you were actually just about to get down the Roughie mode there, did you?
No.
I thought to myself, you
That one,
dirty old man.
Oh,
you.
no, not at
Right,
all.
so X-ray eyes, Roughie.
I just Tom said it'd have to be invisible,
Yeah. Oh.
especially when you get caught. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Ruffy, that is unbelievable. I'm going to be, you'll never believe it, Tam, you're going to slaughter me for this. The ability to heal. There you are. If I don't get it, I mean, honestly.
You've got to
Can you
watch how
imagine
you
that?
use that.
Can you imagine you could
Could
actually...
spoil a night.
Well, I like good now.
Oh, no.
Exactly. But can you imagine you had the ability to save somebody's life just by touching them?
That'd be great.
That'd be great. Tam's totally not enamoured with that one. And it brings me nicely to the fact that if you'd have been a multi-millionaire, you could have picked any city in the world that's your favourite city that you could live in now.
Hey, wait a minute. While he's thinking about it, you need to tell us, I'm guessing New York is yours now. You had a ball there, the other week.
New York, magnificent.
He's the top 5 things that you did when you were there. In ascending order, I'm putting you in the spot.
Right, okay. Top one that I thought was something not to be missed, and I spent a fortune on the
This
tickets.
would have been the ascending.
9. No, but I'm going top. I'm going top first, and
Right,
then,
okay, that's fine.
And then I'll descend to number 5. Billy Joel.
Super.
Billy Joel at Madison
Brilliant.
Square Garden's fantastic because we've paid a lot for the tickets. We're 9 from the front, and my daughter slept through the entire concert.
Wow.
So I've wasted a heck of a lot of money on her ticket, but he was fantastic. Songs were brilliant. His patter was sensational, and I like New Yorkers. I like their attitude. It's the kind of a stuff you attitude at times if you don't like it. So and I stayed there for a wee while as well. So Billy Joel first. Secondary.
It was the best place you ate.
Gallagher's
Oh, brilliant. Aye.
steak.
Did you go to Smith and Wolenski's?
No,
Just Gallagher's.
No, I didn't. I didn't go there. I'd actually gone to Gallagher's because a guy who's a journalist, Alec Gordon, had suggested it.
All right.
So I went there. Gallagher's was fantastic. The Empire State is not to be missed.
No.
Just basically because you got there and you hope the little backsack with the teddy bear's going to be there, like the movie. Do you remember the movie? No.
Did you go to Count Dracula's
Sleepless in
headquarters?
Seattle. What?
Did you go to Count Dracula's headquarters?
No.
It's
what's
a
that?
Vampire State Building. It's oh no, it's not Christmas. We're timeless. There's a podcast. If it's roasting outside the dinner, I'm going my holidays next week.
Empire State is third. Fourth, I think you've got to go to Ellis Island.
Yep.
So you can see, how many Americans, all immigrants going into that country. And then...
Close to Hoboken? No. Beautiful wee bar.
No, I didn't go
area.
there. And then fifth out of the whole trip, I think had to be going to New Jersey to see my cousin, and I'll tell you why, because he was one of the top private detectives in New York.
Wow.
And
Stories.
Millionaire. Stories, and he's worked for presidents, kings, you name it, and the stories of celebrities that he's worked for, unbelievable.
Magic.
So I could have spent
like a great
an hour if he'd have done the book the way.
Should I take means to your daughter? She clearly didn't appreciate it.
She just appreciated get her an American doll and buy her American clothes. So I'm going New York. What are you going?
Dublin or Belfast or Treviso in Italy.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Why specifically Treviso? There's a story about that.
I worked there last summer. Went there with my agent's company, taking students. So I was like basically the timekeeper for them. And then we went to Treviso for a couple of days and loved it. Just it's full of proper Italians, no tourists about, and you just got to sit and drink Aperol Spritz and watch people.
Magic. Oh, I like that. You caught me on the hop there, but I knew Treviso, there was a story there. Tom, what about yourself?
It's got to be Vegas, where I played Knots and Crosses with a live chicken. That was for money. That's true. It was in the Tropicana Hotel. It had already been playing at Atlantic City. A live chicken, and the best described was you get into like a clear perspex confession box, if you can imagine that, with the perspex wall separating in the middle.
I can.
And there's a Knots and Crosses board in the middle. The chicken, a live chicken, is in one end, and the punter's going to the next. And it pecks at the board, and its cross goes up, and then you touch it and you put your zero up. It goes next, right? And it just never ever gets beaten, right? And if you beat it, you get $1,000, right? That's honestly. Now you got a lot of folks saying waiting in the queue. You want to see in the queue for us, and folks saying, but the chicken always gets first shot, and you think fucking entitled to get first shot. It's a chicken, get it first shot, That's what they were all saying, But the amazing thing was that the reason it ended up in Vegas, and this is true, it got beat 3 times in the bounce in Atlantic City, and they thought, right, get that. Right, gets in to get a number for Colonel Sanders, But so we didn't to Vegas to try and recoup some money. So I've played in Vegas, Knots and Crosses with a live chicken. Me and 2 of my pals for Hamilton, including an old guy that you'll remember, Peter Cheeky Chick Maguire.
Yes.
We gate crashed a VIP party been held by Gladys Knight. We'd seen her in the Flamingo Hotel. We came out, and I think we took a wee round turn, and there was like ropes, cordon and bits off, and a couple of big security guys. My mate Chick, who's daft as a brush, he just went up and he says, put on this terrible American accent, hi, we're with the Peers Party. I always remember that as day Peers. I don't know where to get that from. We're with the Peers Party. Oh, and you come, guys. And the next minute, I was there having a wee blather with Gladys Knight. That was in Vegas. And Al Pacino bought me a Bud Light in the Bellagio Hotel. I was getting up to my room one night. And what I always liked today was maybe with just $100 before I went to my bed at night, getting to one of the high roller bits. Kidding on, you're a flash Harry. And maybe just have one bet at a high roller bit. And I sat down at this table. There's only one other guy playing. I can see it as if it was yesterday. Sat at the other table, quite, a wee bit covered up, giving the impression, all that stuff doesn't work, because you immediately think, oh, that must be somebody, because he's trying to hide himself a wee bit, But I looked, and I thought, and then I heard them talking to the croupier at one point. I thought, that's Al Pacino, So I'm talking about the croupier as well, and just at that, a cocktail waitress comes up, usually, cocktails, and she's right out to him, and we're in that bit, you can get anything you want. And he looked up at us, I get goosebumps thinking about it. He just flicked a finger towards me, and he says, get my Scottish friend a drink.
Brilliant.
And I didn't even say it. I didn't want to be a pest. I says, oh, thank you very much. And I got a Bud Light for Al Pacino.
That's a good one, Roughie. And I'm going to ask you before, obviously, you potentially could top that, but what about your city?
City, well, you've obviously picked the city with the shows. And my sort of a city revolves around that as well. It'd be Stockholm. Obviously, the shows are a wee bit different from what you were going to.
Yeah.
But they're super.
Were these window shows?
Are they audience participation style shows?
I don't want to name
Was there a
names.
ping pong involved?
Aye.
I don't want to name
The
names.
cleaners have a worse job than him at a Player of the Year do.
No, there was one time. I don't want to name names or anything like that, but
Come
we did
on.
actually go to a show, and it was, as you can imagine, it was live show with audience participation.
Better than dead.
It was,
Yeah.
this was audience. This was audience participation, and I was gutted because two of the players were up there and I wasn't. It was a shocker.
Oh,
I still haven't got at it.
so Stockholm.
We could do a bit of research in and get an idea what other sort of players would have been there.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love the names on it. And with that in mind, because Tam always comes out with those little nuggets about Al Pacino, I think I don't think I can top that. Al Pacino's right up there. Belinda Carlisle.
Oh, she was lovely.
Kensington Rooftop Gardens party up there, and in walked Boy George and George Michael.
Wow.
So that was a good night, and I was there with my big pal John Leslie. That's another story.
Seriously?
Yep.
John Leslie, Boy George, and George Michael in one place.
I knew where I was going.
Wow.
I knew where I was going with him. But Big John's he was a right good lad, good big heavy, good patter, and a thoroughly enjoyable night. It was had by one and all. Gary, anybody? You met anybody famous in Greenock?
No, I'm good pals with Martin Compton.
Oh, of course. Martin.
Aye.
Yeah,
Aye.
Martin's a good lad. Interestingly enough, he came on for an evening with Scott Brown at the Armadillo.
That's right.
And the first thing they said before we got there is, by the way, don't have a baby. You're going on the stage. There's 3,500 people out there. Obviously, you're going to have a chat about Scott and his career. And I got on well with Bruni, so he had said, is there any chance you could come and say a few words about me on the stage? So I said, fantastic, you know. And they said, don't swear. So Compton.
Oh, there's kids and everything.
Oh,
Aye.
there's kids there. You know,
Aye.
there's 3,500 people. So Compton, you want a beer? Oh, I'll have one, right? So, and again, typical Greenock. He's another one. So he's had 7 beers. So he's absolutely bladdered as he's just getting on the stage, you know. And then and that was him. So sweary word after sweary word non-stop. But he's a good lad, good footballer.
I was a good player in school.
Yeah.
In the same school team for a while. So.
Oh, did you?
He's a good player.
That's a good one, Roughie. You're going to. I came to
No,
you
it
last
doesn't
because you're
beat. It
going to
doesn't
talk.
beat Al Pacino, but going
Yeah.
back to Rod's house for a party is up there. You know.
Yeah, similar to a night out with John Leslie, to be honest with you.
But no, his house was
Look
a bit
at Tom. Look at
special.
Tom. I can always see. I can see the wheels in your head.
No, I was thinking his son, it was too contemporary about Rod Stewart, but I'm remembering this could be any time. So we can't even mention what the Green
No, you
Brigade think to him.
can't. You can, by the
No.
way. Everybody knows Rod's a Tory now.
No.
That's
a
what you were
good
going to
lad.
mention, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, absolutely.
This image of him with Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
Tidy blonde in her day.
So, just before we finish, Gary, when you look back over the entire career, is there one particular game that sticks in your mind? Because I know, listen, everybody gets to that point where they have to think, I'm going to have to retire. I wonder what you're going to do. I know people like to coach. If you couldn't coach, would there be another job?
I've thought about a few things. I don't want to be stuck in an office, so
Yeah.
we'll take it for there and we'll see.
If I could give you one job, no matter what it is, what would it be?
Sitting here talking to you is free would be nice for a wee time.
That would be all right, wouldn't it, by the way?
Take that.
You think maybe at your retirement gig, we're bound to get an invite to go to your house. I'd love to throw up in your house, by the way. That'd be great,
I just
Roughie,
love
wouldn't
to
it?
throw something at somebody.
Yeah. See if we were sitting here. We just want to throw rolls at your wife.
Well, I want the invite next year, Peter, just to see him in action if you're bringing him back. So I don't ever heard second-hand stories about that now.
Well, to be fair, by
From
the
a
way,
variety
if
of
Gary's
people.
coming next year, you and Gary will be able to chat together because the staff are not coming.
See, he's that nice, quiet way as well. Very polite. He actually only wanted to come on off the ball with us to get an off-the-ball mug for his wife. Am I right?
I don't have a wife, but
The girlfriend?
Yeah.
Sorry, your wife's already got all your mugs and your cutlery and your telly.
It was just a story to get new mugs.
Aye, but he was delighted to get the mug. That's the reason to come on.
We should do a mug, Roughie.
Mugs are great. Everybody likes a mug.
Aye. We've got to, we did have mugs before, but we need to get more. We need to get mugs to hand out to people who come on as well. Although we're going to give Gary a T-shirt. It'll be interesting. We'll get 10 legends that we did a deal with for T-shirts and canvas and prints. So there's 10 to choose. So we're going to give you the option. Hopefully we've got it in your size, which I presume is a medium.
Me and Sam have used the small ones, haven't we?
We have, yes.
So I'm going to give you 10 of an option, right? And you've got to pick what one of the T-shirts that you would want. So we've got Maradona, we've got Pele, we've got George Best, we've got Andres Iniesta,
Willie Kenneborough.
we've got Willie Kenneborough, we've got Pirlo, we've got Dennis Law, Cruyff, and Ronaldo the Brazilian. I think that's it.
It's great if you can discreetly and let the punters be the judge. If you get the guest in one that we think he would be most like to be, if he did just maybe a wee bit more talent.
Mm-hmm.
I was dressed up as Pirlo last weekend.
I
Newcastle.
knew you were going to say that, by the way. Pirlo's got to be the one for you. I would have picked Pirlo for you. Yeah, absolutely.
But the viewers, the listeners, everybody would love mugs. I'll tell you why. See, when we in the era, we couldn't do competitions for years on off the ball of that nonsense about competitions in the BBC, and somebody had blown it for everybody, right? But when we did the era, we did the T-shirts, as nice as they were. See the faffing about you today, because you would send one out to somebody and then they would contact the show back. Oh, you've sent me out a medium, is there any chance of a small? Oh, you've sent me out an XL, any chance, you know? And it was a nightmare. Mugs are always the right size, and folk either use them just as a wee ornament, they use them as a practical drinking mug, they use them to stick pens in. They're a good idea, Peter. I think you should think about it.
Yep, I think we're going to do that. By the way, listen, it's been a joy chatting to you. We never got your classic game. Was there one game in particular where you absolutely bossed it and you'll never forget it?
I think the week after the CIS Cup final, we played Motherwell at home, and I think nutmeg Jennings 4 times that game and our couple of bodies. So I was quoted as a record nutmegs in one game or something like that.
He had money on you, nutmegging him 4 times on it.
Gave me
I was wondering why I remembered that name, Jennings. That was never proven.
Yeah, thank God for that, Tom. By the way, that's the great thing about it. Nutmegs, 10 bob a nutmeg. That's just you could win 40.
Again, let's get back to the flamboyant players. We've gone full circle. You just wouldn't see players doing that. I remember raging years ago when we had challenged almost the whole of Scotland. We went into the radio one day on a Saturday. It was the anniversary that very day. It might have been 1997, would it have been then? It was the 30th anniversary, anyhow, of Jim Baxter playing Keepy Uppy at Wembley. It was that day, and I thought, right, for them that's out there listening to the show, maybe your cousin plays with Wraith Rovers, maybe your uncle plays with Cowdenbeath, maybe you're playing for your works team the day, your school team. We'd love someday, and for somebody to give us a wee bit of documentary evidence to go out the day, and as a wee nod to Jim Baxter, whoever you're playing against, get the ball on the left touchline and indulge in a wee bit of Keepy Uppy. And we thought somebody will do that. We'll hear word back. Nobody did it, and you know what? I don't think anybody could. I think that was the reason, you know. I'd have loved to have seen it.
Not even Jim Baxter's son could do it.
And a wee bit like that. Fans love all that. And I remember, who was the guy? You might even remember his name, Peter. There was a guy, and he get pilloried for it, and I thought, clear my lane. It was a Rangers game, and I think it was again, one of their nemesis clubs, maybe Alloa, but they beat them this time. And the guy was... It was a young black guy, and he was. The game was won. They were maybe 3 or 4-0 up. And he started doing some wee fancies and that. And there was some folks saying, "Oh wait, that's Allah you're playing. How can you do it?" And I think, no, he's entertaining the fans. The game was deed. The fans had paid a lot of money. You do what you want, son, and entertain the crowd.
Yeah, I think Kanchelskis did that. Stood on the ball against St Johnstone. Bertiold sat on the ball against Rangers. Not a good thing to do if there's coming towards you. But nevertheless, I like that. To finish the stories, wee bit of flashness in the game, especially against Motherwell. He's raging. Did you win the game?
We did, I
was just about to say,
he knows that I can't check right away.
I think it was 2-0, to be honest.
Yeah, okay, that's good enough for me. Listen, it's been a joy having you on, Gary, because obviously we try and bring on people that we like, Roughie. We like people that we admire as well. Incidentally, you mentioned there Jim Baxter. Jim Baxter's son was going out with a girl who worked with us at STV, and we had a football 11-a-side team, and she said, listen, any chance my boyfriend can come and play for your team? I know he's playing a game next week. And I said, I'm not sure. She says, Jim Baxter's son. And honestly, the only thing that's going through my head, I'm thinking to myself, Tam, this is it. We are going to get somebody who'll play Keepy Up. He's flicking it over. There'll be 40-yard diagonals. This will be magnificent. No.
Rotten.
Right, rotten. And all the boys, you know that look you get? You've got it in training when you sign a new player and you look at him, you think, he's rank rotten.
But your pal John Leslie, he thought he was a goalie.
Oh, absolutely, John. Oh, the big man did think he was a goalie, but he was torture as well.
All hands, isn't he?
He's
all hands.
Thanks to Gary Harkins for
His superpower is that he's turned into me.
Gary, nobody's topping that line, and he's worked well today. Great to have Gary Harkins chatting about his career, chatting about more than a few things. Superpowers is one of them, and I think he's landed us with the best line of the day. Thanks to Roughie, thanks to Tam Cowan. Don't forget, at the podcast every Friday morning, you can listen to it, or if you want to watch it, you can do it on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, where you can click in there and you'll get all the latest video content as well. So from Roughie, Tam and Gary Harkins and myself, Peter Martin, thank you very much for listening and watching our podcast.